Welcome to our sea lion show. Now, as you can see, we've got one of the sea lions on stage here. There's another one over in the corner pool. That's our 17-year-old. He's called Merlin. He's having a well-deserved break. He's been on stage twice already today, so he's now having a break over in the corner pool. Marvin here is going to be centre stage. He's going to do most of the showing off today, and he likes to start every show with a wave. If you guys stick an arm in the air, give him a wave. He should wave back. Let's see you waving. That's what we like to see. Look at that. Give them all a wave. There you go. He does respond to clapping. I know there's only a few of you out there, but if you see him clapping, join in. Give him a round of applause. He will react when he hears you clap. You'll be good fun. Now, Marvin and the other sea lions here, they're California sea lions. Quite a common species of sea lion. They can be found all the way along the west coastline of America. They're also seen as far north as Canada and as far south as the Gulf of Mexico. Ours here were all bred in different zoos. Marvin was bred in a park called Whipsnade. When he arrived here, he was just a pup and he wasn't trained to do much at all, but he's learned to do a lot in the time he's been here. He's learned to open his mouth when we touch him on the chin. If I touch his chin, he does that, so we can check the teeth, the tongue and the back of the throat. If I touch him on the nose, he blows his nose. Go on, blow. Louder. Like that. That's trained so we can take a mucus sample. They can suffer from infections in the nose and throat, so we train them all to blow their nose, allowing us to take a sample of mucus, which we can send to the lab and have tested. If there are any nasty bugs or bacteria in there, we can treat them with the right medication. Obviously, in the current climate, that's fairly relevant. He's also learnt to stick his tongue out. I don't know which infantile trainer taught him to do that, but he sticks his tongue out on occasions, don't you? Go on, show us your tongue. There's his tongue, yes. You love doing that, don't you, Marvin? Thank you. Right, okay, now he's a sea lion, not a seal. You know the differences, don't you? Yes. There are several differences between these animals. People tend to get them confused, but if you know what to look for, it's quite easy to tell a seal from a sea lion. For starters, we've only got sea lions here, and they're all California sea lions, as we said. Seals can be found in every ocean on the planet. There are two species of seal often seen around the coast here in Britain. On our beaches here in the UK, you see grey seals and common seals, but you won't spot any sea lions. If you do, they're very, very lost. The way to tell them apart is quite easy. You look at their front flippers. Sea lions have these massive front flippers. They use them to walk on and they power them through the water. When they swim, it's the front flippers that these animals use. Seals swim using the back flippers by moving them from side to side. They hardly use the front flippers at all when swimming, so they don't grow that big. A seal's front flipper only grows as big as my hand. So you can see there, quite a size difference. And also, seals have claws on each of their front flippers. Marvin's got no claws here, but he's got claws on the back flippers instead. Those claws are just used for scratching. If you look at his ears, they stick out from the side of his head. All species of sea lion, like Marvin, have these little tiny ears. He hates me touching them. They're a bit ticklish, aren't they, Marvin? But you can see how those ears stick out from the side of the head. A seal's ear is just a little hole on the side of the head. Seals don't have those pointed ear flaps. And if you watch how Marvin walks, he walks on all four flippers. He can run, he can jump, he can climb. He can use the front and back flippers to lift his body off the ground, allowing him to move pretty quickly on land. Now, Marvin, I would like you to show everybody how seals move on land. They move in a very different way. They move like this. They sort of wriggle about on their belly. It's a good impression, Marvin, I have to say. Seals have to bounce along by moving their spine in a wave-like motion. They can't stand or walk at all, and they're not that fast on land. Give yourself a clap, good impression. Yeah, that's just a few ways you can tell those animals apart. But there is one awkward creature called a fur seal. Now, fur seals are not actually seals. A fur seal is actually a type of sea lion. That's why the whole subject gets a bit confusing, so we'll move on. We'll do another impression, shall we, Marvin? He's going to impersonate a predator this time that these animals face in the wild. When he comes to the surface, look at his flipper. Can you guess which creature he's pretending to be? It is a shark. You are correct, whoever shouted that. Now, there are three sharks that attack these animals. Sea lions like this are eaten by tiger sharks, bull sharks, and the notorious great white shark. But we have to make it clear, most sharks are harmless. Sharks have a very bad reputation, but most of them don't eat sea lions, and they don't eat surfers either. That's a myth. But Marvin, tell us, what would you do if you were swimming around and you spotted one of those sharks in the water, what would you do? Leg it. Yes, that's the answer. Head for dry land is always your safest bet if you see a shark. Now, it's not just sharks and killer whales that are a threat to these animals. Us humans are. We don't hunt sea lions like this, but we used to. We used to hunt them for their blubber, which we turned into oil. We hunted them for meat, and we mainly hunted them for their fur coat. They appear smooth and slippery when wet, but that is actually fur covering the body. And we used to hunt them for that fur. When we used to hunt them, their numbers were in decline. But once we stopped hunting them, well over 100 years ago now, their numbers increased and they've stabilised at around the 300,000 mark. So this species of sea lion is not endangered, they're not currently classed as threatened. But they do face a threat indirectly in the form of pollution. Us humans dump millions of tonnes of waste and debris into the oceans every year. It has a serious effect on animals like this. Mainly plastic, that is the problem. As we're all well aware, there's lots of plastic in the oceans now, and these animals choke on it. Because they're naturally very playful, very inquisitive, they find rubbish in the water, they try to eat it, and it can prove fatal. It can be a problem here if litter gets in the pool. So we've taught Marvin to recycle his plastic. Go on, Marvin, show everybody what we should be doing. We've got his recycling bin here, which he opens with his flipper, and in here we've got a piece of plastic. Now, a few years ago, if I'd thrown this in the pool, he'd have tried to eat it, but he now knows what to do with it. He's the only sea lion here that is trained to do this, so don't do what I'm about to do, which is carelessly throw that in the pool. Instead of trying to eat it, he now brings it straight back, he puts it in his bin for recycling, he even makes sure to shut the lid so the others can't get it. Well done, Marvin. That's what we all should be doing, so. Yes. And the valuable lesson is, if you ever go to the coast, if you're on the beach, make sure you take all your litter away with you. Don't leave it on the sand, don't leave it in the ocean. It can cause a serious amount of harm to animals like this. Right, enough lecturing, let's try something a bit more fun. We've got some hoops here. Marvin is very good at catching them. If I throw the hoops to him, he can stretch out his long neck and catch them over his head. He can do that because he's got binocular eyesight. That means he's got two eyes facing forward, like us. So he can judge distance and he can judge speed. I can throw the hoops low, I can throw them high in the air. He can usually stretch out that long neck and catch them all. If he gets this one, a big clap. Well done, Marvin. That was good catching. And similar skills are required, of course, when catching fish, like this mackerel. Now here, of course, the fish are easy to catch because we've just defrosted them. In the wild, catching those live fish requires a lot of effort for these animals. Sadly, in the wild, catching fish becomes more and more difficult with every passing day due to overfishing on our behalf. And that's another threat to these animals. But their catching skills are phenomenal. They've got very good eye and muscle coordination too, and very fast reactions. If we flip the hoops, they're much, much harder to catch. But Marvin can react at the last second and catch them over his head. Occasionally he misses the odd hoop, but not very often. He is pretty good at this now. And if he gets all five, he's going to be very pleased with himself. Last one. Whoa, look at that. That was brilliant. Really good catching there, Marvin. There's very good reactions needed to do that. And now, these animals have an amazing ability. In the wild, they can actually survive if they go blind. They're one of the rare mammals that can. And the same goes for seals. That's thanks to these whiskers around their nose. They can use these very sensitive whiskers to find food in the wild if they can't see. For example, if the ocean's dark or murky, if visibility's poor, or if their eyesight fails them, they can't see the fish or squid they're trying to catch, but they can detect movement in the water with those incredibly sensitive whiskers. When a fish swims, it moves its tail from side to side, creating little waves in the water behind the fish. The whiskers can detect these waves, and if they follow them, it leads them to the food. So that's how they hunt when they can't see. Now here, we're not allowed to feed them live fish. All the fish that we feed Marvin and the others has just been defrosted. So here, they don't really use the whiskers, unless you practice balancing with them. Marvin, concentrate on the ball. Now he can actually catch the ball. To catch the ball, he's got to watch it, just like catching the hoops. He's got to get his head in the right place. Look at that, what a catch. Very good, Marvin. But caught the ball, his whiskers take over. He's not watching the ball now. He could actually do this with his eyes shut. He's using his whiskers to feel which way it's moving. Every time that ball touches any one of those whiskers, he can feel that pressure. So that lets him know which way to move his head. He's so good at this, after years and years of practice, he can keep his head fairly still, the ball hardly seems to move. But he is adjusting his nose all the time, depending on the feelings he's getting from his whiskers. Now, he makes this look easy, but he's been practicing this for about 20 years. He'll turn 21 next month. So he's been practicing this since he arrived here, since he was a little pup, and that's why he's so good at it. We can make it much more of a challenge by swapping the ball for a 10-pin bowling skittle. Now, he's the only one of the sea lions here that can do this. Marvin, give me the ball back. You get a mackerel for a brilliant balance, yeah? The training we do is all about positive reinforcement, rewarding the animal when they do something well. That reward can be fish, like a mackerel, or it can just be vocal praise, saying, well done, good boy. Giving the animal a pat on the back works just as well as feeding them a piece of fish. Now, you can really show off. Yeah, you guys are helping me with the clapping too. That really does help me with the training. You know what that means. Yeah, every time you give him that round of applause, you're helping me to encourage him. And as you can see, he's just a show-off, really. When he comes to balancing, this sea lion's in a league of his own. He can follow me around the stage. He can even dive off the stage and into the pool without dropping the skittle. He's the only sea lion here that's ever learned to do that. Absolutely brilliant, man. Give yourself another round of applause. Very good. Right, he's going to do one last thing for us out here. He's going to do the tower dive. You've probably noticed these steps at the side of the pool, leading to the top of the tower. Now he's hopefully, and please note the word hopefully, going to be brave enough to dive into the pool from the top of the tower. Our other sea lion, Merlin, who's over in the corner pool, we've now finally persuaded him to climb to the top of the tower. It's taken me 10 years to get him to do it. He will climb to the top, however, when he gets to the top, he bottles it and walks back down again. But Marvin is that little bit braver, and I'm hoping he's going to do that big dive to end his part of the show. So when he gets to the top, we will give him a countdown from 3 to 1, and a big cheer if he makes the dive. Are you ready, Marvin? 3, 2, 1, jump! Yes, straight to the hesitation from him. Well done, Marvin. Give yourself a big clap. Good one. Now, we always like to end the show with the high ball jump. We asked one of the sea lions to attempt to hit the pink ball hanging above the pool with their nose. Now you could easily do that, couldn't you? Yeah. But we're not going to ask him to do it. He's going to give you a little wave. And he's going to disappear. Give him a clap as he leaves the stage. Well done, Marvin. Instead, what we're going to do is bring out little Matteo to give this a try. Now, Matteo is the youngest sea lion here. He was born in Dublin Zoo. And he will turn 3 next month. And he's a little mischief. Now, he loves coming out here in front of an audience. Bear in mind, from the beginning of January right up until April, when we opened the park up again, he didn't see anyone in the audience. He didn't see anyone apart from the training staff here. So he loves coming out in front of you guys to do a bit of showing off. But he's only got a very short attention span. So we're only going to ask you to do the one thing today, which is the high ball jump. And I'm hoping he's not going to let us down. Now, you know what you've got to do, little fella? You've got to try and hit that pink ball with your nose. That's a big jump for a little sea lion like him. All I ask is that you do your very best, okay? If you miss, it doesn't matter. He missed the other day, sulk for the rest of the day. If he misses, give him a clap just for trying. If you hit it, this lovely audience will give you a big cheer, and I'll give you a big mackerel, okay? That's the deal, Matteo. Now, after this, we do have a one-way system in place at the moment, so if possible, we'd like you to leave by that gate on the other side. As you head round there, you will see Marvin posing for pictures. Now, if you want to, you can buy a poster for a £5. There's 2 to choose from. We've got a new one featuring all the sea lions here. Buy a poster for a £5 and you can pose for a picture in front of Marvin if you've got your phones or your cameras with you. It's a great photo opportunity. You can pay with cash or card, and all the proceeds go directly back to these guys. So by buying a poster, not only do you get a picture in front of Marvin, he might even stick his tongue out for your picture, you also contribute to the sea lions that you've been watching. It all goes towards these guys, their everyday care, and those never-ending fish bills, which have mounted up at an alarming rate throughout the lockdown when parks been closed, so it's much appreciated. However, it's now down to you, mate. No more talking. Let's give him a countdown from 3 to 1. Are you ready, Matteo? 3, 2, 1. Here he comes for the last time today. Can he get that ball? Yeah! Well done, Roman. That was a lovely way to end the show. Now that just leaves me to say thank you all very much for coming. It's been lovely having you back here today, and we hope to see you all again soon. In the meantime, stay safe from Matteo, Marvin and me. Bye bye. Thank you all. See you next time.